me tell you about one of the most expensive mistakes I ever made in the UK. When I landed my first job here, I was so happy. You know that feeling when you finally get that skilled worker visa stamp and you are thinking, oh, God has answered all my prayers. My village people will be proud. So when they gave me the offer letter, I looked at it and thought, this is lower than expected. But I still went ahead, smiled and signed it because that was the right thing to do. This is what I've been looking for. So now that it's here, I have to be grateful, right? Keep your head down and the money will come. What I didn't know and what nobody tells immigrants when they arrive is that the UK job market doesn't reward loyalty like we think it does. In fact, research shows that employees who stay at the same company for a long time average just 2 to 3% pay rise per year, which most of the time is below inflation. Meaning, in real terms, the longer you stay loyal, the poorer you get. And I have experienced this myself. Meanwhile, people who change jobs were seeing salary increases of 10%, 15%, 20% in a single move, and I was just sitting there waiting. And I'll get to that in a minute because it took me 4 years to figure this out. And that gap cost me thousands of pounds I will never get back. And I'm making this video so that it doesn't cost you the same. Hi, my name is Savon, and on this channel, I talk about money, careers, and building real wealth as an immigrant in the UK. And if you're new here, welcome. Hit subscribe because I promise you the things we discuss here, they don't teach it in the orientation pack they give you at the airport. Today, we are answering one of the most common questions I get. Should you go for a promotion at your current job, or should you job hop to a new company for more money? Both of them works, but one of them works faster. And by the end of this video, you will know which one is right for your situation based on my story. So let's get into it. Listen, I don't judge anyone who comes into this country and take whatever job they can get, because at that time you're looking for visa sponsorships, right? So fair enough, you will take whatever comes your way. That is phase 1. But phase 2 is where most of us get stuck. We stay, we work hard, we become the most reliable person in the office. We come in early, we stay late, we do the work of 3 people because we were raised to give 100%. And also because, let's be honest, we are a little bit scared to make noise because we feel like we might put our visa in jeopardy. And then we wait for someone to notice. We wait for the manager to say, oh, this person has been going above and beyond. Give him a promotion or give him a pay rise. And I'm not afraid to say I did exactly this. I remember my first performance review. I was so excited because back home, when they are increasing your salary, it's 10%, 15%. So I had already calculated and I was thinking, I have gone above and beyond all year. I documented it, so I was ready. This is my moment. I was sitting in the room. The moment my manager opened his mouth, I knew something diabolical was about to come out, because tell me why they gave me 2.5%. The 2% wasn't as annoying as the 0.5% that was added to it. What is it doing there? And I remember Googling and asking people if that was normal because I couldn't think far. And oh, my dear friend, it was normal. And that was the problem. Tell me in the comments, how long did you wait before you realized that the company is not just going to reward you? I really want to know. Let's start the conversation because here is the UK job market's dirty secret. A study by Wealthify found that people who switch jobs 4 or more times within a decade earn an average of over £39,000 a year. That's 1% more than the people who usually stay at their company and stay loyal. Imagine staying in one place for a 2 to 5% increase every 2 years, or every year if you are lucky. What I have noticed is that companies give their biggest salary to the people they are trying to hire, not the people they already have. I remember someone complaining to me that they asked a new hire who was at the same level as he was how much they were earning, and it turns out the person was earning 4,000 more than he was. And I wasn't surprised because that is the reality of how the market works. So while you are in the office being the golden child, bringing biscuits for the team meetings, volunteering for everything, inflation is eating your salary. The system wasn't designed to reward loyalty. It was designed to reward movement. The sooner you understand that, the faster your income grows. And unfortunately, I found out the hard way. Now, before you go and submit your resignation letter, please wait, because I'm not saying promotions are a waste of time. In the right situation, they absolutely make sense. But let me tell you what happened to me first. I remember when I went for a promotion, I prepared, I made my case, I did everything right, and I got it. But my salary went up by only 6%. 6% after everything I had put in. So I told myself, okay, that's a start. I can do this again. More will come definitely in the future. So I put my head down again, built my case, and went for another promotion the following year. It didn't happen. I work in the same industry that I was working in back home in Ghana. Every year, we are supposed to get promoted. So that was the same expectation I came with. But it didn't happen year on year for me here. And around the same time, I was talking to a friend who had just left the company for another job. And when they moved, they got a 30% pay increase in one move. I remember sitting with that number thinking, 30%. My 2 promotions wouldn't have even matched that after putting in all the time and all the effort. And that was the moment I knew that the promotion route is not going to get me where I want to go. Because hello, we came here to make as much as we can, right? But the reason I couldn't leave immediately was my visa. I was tied to my employer for 3 years and they were willing to renew my visa for another 2 years before my ILR. So I couldn't just walk out. And if that's you right now, I see you, okay? The feeling of knowing that you deserve more but your hands are tied is one of the most frustrating place to be. So that was my story, but there are certain situations, like I said earlier, that promotions make sense. The first one is if your company has a clear progression structure. Some companies in finance, tech, consulting, and NHS have clear grade levels. If you are one level below a significant pay band, a promotion makes more sense than jumping to a competitor. So you just have to know your grade, know what's above it, and then you make a plan for it. I have a story about this grade thing and I will tell you soon. Now, the second one is if your visa is tied to your employer. I'm not saying because you are on a skilled worker visa, you have to stay with one employer. You can definitely find another employer that will be more than willing to sponsor you. Believe me, I have tried it and I have found one. And I will share with you in subsequent videos on how I did it. But if you are on a skilled worker visa, job hopping isn't as simple as it sounds. You need your new employer to be a licensed sponsor and you need a new certificate of sponsorship in your hand before you resign. Do not resign first. I repeat, do not resign first. Well, when I got the offer letter, I just resigned immediately, but don't be like me. Also, if you are very close to getting your ILR settlement, it might make more sense to get the promotion now and then job hop after you have some flexibility in your immigration status. Because again, when you get ILR, you're not tied to your employer. Then the third one is if you genuinely have internal leverage. Let's say you've led a very big project, or you brought in revenue, or you saved the company some money, or you have some skills that will be very hard to replace. That is your leverage. And if you can walk into a promotion conversation with that evidence and you are 100% sure you're going to get that promotion, then a promotion option is better than moving to another company. However, the mistake most of us make in promotion conversations is talking about how hard we've worked throughout the year. Your manager already knows you've gone above and beyond, but what you actually need is a business case for paying you more. And building a business case is not that easy. Believe me, I know. So you have to talk in numbers and outcomes. I led X, which resulted in Y, is 1,000 times more powerful than I've been here for more than 3 years and I always go above and beyond, working overtime and on weekends. Trust me, nobody cares. Like, it will shock you. Now, for you to build your business case, you need to have that conversation. If you are not being given the chance to build a business case, my sister, it's time to move on because the promotion is not coming. Let's talk about job hopping now, because for most of us in the UK, especially in our first 5 to 10 years of our career, this is the fastest way to increase our income. Full stop. I remember when I was looking for another job, I searched for over a month, every single day. It became my second job, and I have a very detailed video on this coming, so stay tuned. I was applying in the morning, going through LinkedIn at lunchtime, and I was still receiving rejections left, right, center. But still, Odeshi, I didn't give up. I was determined to leave, and when the offer finally came, the salary increase was also only 6% on paper. I know you're thinking, oh, 6%, that's the same as your promotion. But the thing is, this new role actually came with less responsibilities. So in real terms, slightly higher money with less stress, less pressure, and more headspace to grow. And the grades above me in that new role had more high earning potential than the grade I was currently in. And that happens when you move into another industry. Sometimes you have to take a pay cut in order to increase your earning potential when moving into a new industry. For example, tech. Can you believe that the director grade in my old job wasn't even earning 6 figures? A director. That's when I knew that I have to change road entirely, because the directors do a lot, and not even for 6 figures. Miss me with that. Because no matter how many promotions I got, I could literally see where the track ends. So I had to hand in that notice. It just didn't make sense that it took me so long to realize that this was a dead end for me. And when I handed in that notice, my old employer didn't even counter offer. They were just saying, oh, we are sad to see you go. Is there anything we can do to make you stay? Sometimes companies give you a counter offer, but mine didn't. They were just using words. That was okay for me because I wouldn't have even stayed if they gave me a counter offer. And honestly, in that moment, I felt like a weight had been lifted off me. Like something that had been sitting on my chest for the past 3 years had finally been removed. That feeling told me everything I needed to know about how long I had stayed too long. So when job hopping as an immigrant, you have to job hop strategically, and here's how to do it. The first one is timing. Timing matters. And I have said it already. If you are on a skilled worker visa, you have to make sure that your new employer can sponsor you. And then the second one is you have to aim for a minimum 15% salary increase. However, if you are moving into a new industry, you have to do a little bit of research because you would have to take a pay cut in order to increase your earning potential. So it's up to you and your career goals. And then the third one is don't just hop too frequently. Moving every 3 to 4 years is strategic, but moving every 12 months starts to raise questions on your CV, especially in the UK where employers value some level of commitment. Then the fourth one is you can use your offer as leverage. Sometimes getting a competing offer and showing it to your current employer is all it takes to trigger the pay rise they've been sitting on. But if you're going to do that, just be prepared for them to say no and be ready to also leave. I want to talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough. The psychology barrier many of us have around asking for more money. A lot of us come from cultures where asking for more feels ungrateful, or we feel like we should just be thankful for having a job in the UK in the first place, or we worry that pushing too much would make us look difficult. And as immigrants, being seen as difficult has bigger consequences compared to someone who was born here. I carried that fear for years and it was expensive for me. But today I want to challenge that thinking. Negotiating your salary is a normal, expected part of the professional world in the UK. Hiring managers expect you to negotiate. In fact, studies show that most initial offers are made with room to negotiate already built in. I remember someone reaching out to me telling me that she felt so bad because she found out she was being paid less than her colleagues. And that is what happens when you do not negotiate. You are not asking for a favor. You are discussing the value of your skills in the market. And the more comfortable you get having it, the faster your income will grow. So to summarize, if you are early in your career or your visa gives you some level of flexibility, job hopping will almost certainly get you to a higher income faster. If you are close to your ILR, tied to a sponsor, or you genuinely have leverage in the company, push for a promotion first. Either way, whether you get a promotion or land a new job with a better salary, the next question you have to ask yourself is, what am I going to do with that extra money? Because I see so many of us work extra hard to earn more, just to let that money sit in the current account, earning basically nothing. Or we send it home, and yes, I know the family needs it. I'm not judging. And if you've ever had to explain the UK salary to your parents, you know exactly what I mean. Raise your hands in the comments if your family thinks you are richer than you really are in the UK. But yeah, you also have to build for yourself here. And right now, in March 2026, there is a government-backed window that closes on 5th of April. The government will be giving you a £20,000 allowance that is tax-free. So in my next video, I'm going to break that down specifically for immigrants. What it is, how to open one, and why exactly you need to add before the April deadline. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it, because that video could genuinely save you some money this tax year. Thanks for watching this one. Stay safe, stay blessed, and I will see you in the next one.